Hi friends, today we are going to learn how to repair a dead laptop motherboards. So in the screen you can see there are three sections. This is section A. This section is basically called voltage and battery charging sections, and then this section B, it's called always voltage sections, which generate a 3 and 5 volt. This is called the always voltage. This voltage comes before power on button press. And the next section is section C, which is basically responsible to turn on the laptops. So in this C section there are three components. One is a SIO, then next is a BIOS, and next is PCH, either PCH, or if it is 5th generation onward laptops, then there will be a CPU. Instead of PCH, there will be a CPU. Let's learn how to repair the dead laptop motherboard. First we'll understand the concept, because in any electronic things, first things it's very necessary, it's that we should understand the proper concept of the circuitry. So first we'll learn the concept. So here are two inputs. One is called the adapter inputs. This is called the DC jacks, where we'll give the power. And the next is, here is a battery. And these are the 5 MOSFETs. These are the 5 MOSFET. This MOSFET is basically, it's an electronic switch. There are 3 legs for the MOSFET: drain, gate, and source. Current gives to the gate, then drain and the source get shorts, the current pass through the circuits like that. So now when we give the power to this DC jacks, the voltage travel from these 2 MOSFETs, and this battery charging chips trigger this 2 MOSFET, and voltage pass through this current sensing resistor. So first things you have to check is that you have to find this current sensing resistor. The resistor value is something 0.2 ohms. 0.2 ohms. Here you have to check this 18 volt. The 18 volts, either it's a depend on the adapter voltage. So you have to check 18 volt here. If the adapter voltage is 18 volt, then 18 volt will be here. If the adapter voltage is 19, then 19 voltage will be here. This is the first halt that we have to check adapter voltage here. If this 18 voltage is not coming here, then either one of this MOSFET is open, so you have to check both the MOSFET, or this chip may be faulty, so you have to check this chips. You can watch our another video which detail given explanations on battery charging sections. So if the 18 voltage is not coming, then you have to check this, either of this 2 MOSFET or the chips. Okay, the next is, when 18 voltage comes here, then these chips send one signal, AC OK signal, to this SIO. Is send a 3 volt to the SIO. Okay, 3 volt to the SIO, and then this 18 voltage travel into the section B. It's called a always voltage section. This always voltage section generate a 3 and 5 volt. Okay, so this is always voltage sections, generate a 3 and 5 volt, and we are using here a TPS 51125 chips. This TPS 51125 chips have 4 sections. It generate first VRG3 and VRG5. This is a linear regulator. It's called VRG3 and VRG5. As soon as these chips get 18 volt at its VIN pin, then this chips send out a 3 volt. You can see in this animation at this VRG3 pins. This is the VRG3 pins, and this chips send out 3 volt, VRG 3 volt, This is called the 3 volt linear voltage, and this 3 volt going to SIO. This 3 volt going to the SIO and EC bias. If it is EC bias is there, then you can check this 3 volt at pin number 8 at the SIO. So it's like that. So this is a fourth section, and if this 3 volt is not coming from this chips, then the problem could be this chips may be faulty. You have to replace this chips. You have to see something wrong in these sections. So the next is you have to check 3 volt at VCC pin on the SIO. This is SIO. SIO is normally ENE, IT, WinBond, SMSC. It's like that. So you have to find this SIO, and you have to check on the data sheets which is the VCC pin, and you have to check this 3 volt. Now if this 3 volt is coming and at this SIO, then SIO generate one signal. It's called the EC reset. EC stand for embedded controller. It's called the EC reset. The EC reset signal is basically used to reset the SIO. To reset the SIO. So you have to check 3 volt here. Then SIO start communicating with the bias. At bias pin number 1 is a chip select pin. Bias pin number 2 is a read pin. So SIO start communicating with the bias. Okay, so bias started communication. Bias should be okay. Then these are the 2 pins also you have to check. One is called the lead sensor. At the lead sensor pin you should get a 3 volt, and this thermal trip here also you should get a 3 volt. So these are the main criteria to turn on the laptop. So step number 3, step number 4, step number 5 EC reset, then 5.1 that is already coming. Then your bias, that EC bias should be okay. Then lead sensor should be okay. Thermal trip should be okay. Now the next is step number 7. Step number 7 is called the power button. It's on the diagram it's written something NBS on or power button or power on switch, something like that. So there you should get a 3 volt. When we press a power button, that 3 volt goes to down, it goes to 0 volt and come back again to the 3 volt. So when we press this power button, 303 pulse will be generated, and this voltage given to the SIO. As soon as SIO get this pulse, SIO start operating, and he send out a one signal that is called a PCH power enable. This PCH power enable only on the Compil laptops motherboard. Basically we are learning this concept for Compil laptops, not for the Quanta or Vistron motherboard. It's a Compil motherboard. So Compil motherboard send out this PCH power enable signal to this MOSFET, and you can see in this animation this pulse width modulator 3 volt out. Here are 2 voltages, 5 volt always and 3 volt always. This pulse width modulator 3 volt out pass through this MOSFET and given to the PCH at pin number VCC DSW. It's called a VCC DSW 3_3. This is a 9 steps, and this voltage you can check on this capacitor also on the PCH. So this is step number 9. Up to here everything is okay. The next steps, that things that you have to check is oscillations. This is RTC sections, and 3 volt battery is connected to the PCH to generate the RTC clock. There will be one crystal. The crystal value is 32.7 kilohertz. So you have to check this oscillation, 32.7 kilohertz oscillation that you have to check, and if this oscillation is not coming, then you have to replace this crystal, and if the oscillation is coming, then this section is working fine. Okay, the next signal that you have to check is RSM RST. A 3 volt RSM RST supposed to come, and if 3 volt RSM RST is not coming, then the problem probably either EC bias corrupt or SIO may be faulty. So you have to replace this both the chip one by one. First you have to flash this EC bias. If problem not solved, then you have to replace the SIO. Now after RSM RST, if the RSM RST 3 volt is coming, the next is now the PCH send a true signal toward the SIO, and this signal is called a slip mode 3 and slip mode 4. It's abbreviated, it's called SLP underscore S4 and SLP underscore F3. These are the two turn on signal coming from the PCH to the SIO. So you have to check this both signal on the SIO pin. You can see in this animation after this PM power button. This is a PM power button coming from SIO to the PCH, and then PCH send this two signal SLP S3 and SLP S4 after 12 sequence. Now when SIO received this signal SLP S3 and SLP S4 from the PCH, SIO, now there are so many pulse width modulators, there are something 5 to 7 pulse width modulators spread across the motherboard. So SIO turn on all this pulse width modulator one by one, and he started sending basically a 3 signals called sys on, SUSP on and VR on. System suspend on, system on and VR on. So these are the last signal which SIO sent toward this different pulse width modulator, and all this pulse width modulator started working. So friends, in this way you have to check all the signal for the dead laptop motherboard. Thank you very much.